Defiant Disorder is a behavioral disorder characterized by disobedient and defiant behavior, including severe tantrums and manipulation. Top 5 tips to manage ODD. Create a healthy, structured environment. Set non-negotiable house rules and enforcement through consequences. Use a calm voice. Don't engage in back-and-forth arguments. If your child successfully controls their behavior, celebrate it. Let them know you appreciate the extra effort. Brain Balance helps children who struggle through our personalized integrated program.
And welcome the Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I am trying to get my Instagram to go live. I'm having issues with this on tonight. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on live or not tonight with them. Let me see something. Give me one moment, guys. Give me one moment. Let's try this again. I don't know what is going on. Well, I guess I won't be on Instagram tonight. It's not letting me go live for some reason. But welcome the Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. And we are on week 2, part 2 of ODD or defiant disorder. Excuse me, oppositional defiant disorder. And let me get on Facebook. Excuse me. I don't know. It doesn't even look like I'm live on Facebook. I don't know what's going on tonight, but we're gonna. Okay, I see I'm live now. Okay, here we go. And let me share this. Okay, so let me try it one more time with my Instagram audience, guys. And I don't know if it's because they've added something new on StreamYard where you all should be able to see every other platform that I'm on tonight. And they just added this in, so I'm not sure if it's because it's something new that they've added on. But this is the first time I've had issues going on Instagram. I'm on 3 different platforms at the same time. But hey, Shantae, how you doing? I don't know. I'm gonna try it one more time. And if not, then I guess not. Here we go. Connect streaming software to go live. Okay, connect streaming software. Let me try it one more time, guys. Give me a minute. Let's see if I can do this. It says I'm live. Okay, it says I'm live on here. All right, well, if I'm live, I'm live. All right, so let's get started. I want to start out with my website disclaimer. So let me move this along. All right. And as y'all can see, that's a good picture of a teenager that's experiencing symptoms of ODD. You know, let me turn this on so y'all can see that. All right. And I'm a degree counselor. I acquired my degrees from Ashford University. Let me open this and then I'll close it back. Please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only, and it will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by myself are subject to the limitations of current and available material, but the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the individual. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you consult another physician, consult another specialist, and or religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral awareness. I am going to read my bio. I've been skipping over it, but I'm going to read it for tonight. I'm a degree counselor who've acquired a dual Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology and organizational management from Ashford University. My great passion is bringing healing to people who have been through traumatic or stressful experiences. So when human beings experience trauma or severe life stressors, it is not uncommon for their lives to seem like it's unraveling. So I help clients who include, I help clients who include children, adults, and families to help them find healthy perceptions of themselves and to help strengthen their relationships so they can know themselves as peaceful, complete, whole, and safe. All right. So let's move this on. We are on part 2 of week 2. We started out on Tuesday night talking about ODD and teenagers. And them having, and the difference between normal teenage behavior and then the teenagers that are experiencing oppositional defiant disorder, or otherwise known as ODD. Okay, so let me move this along. I'm a Christian counselor. So the scripture that I choose to lean on for my series is Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. Now, I do not try to push or I don't push my belief, my Christian belief on people. That's just my belief. Okay. And if you want to come from a psychological standpoint, I stand on virtue ethics. Virtue ethics. Okay. And so that's my form of study right there. All right. So let's move this along. Our key points for tonight. Let me open this. All right, and let's close it back. Number 1, what does ODD in teens look like? What does oppositional disorder, defiant disorder look like in teenagers? Number 2, ODD versus normal teenage behavior. Number 3, the backlash in different settings when a teenager is experiencing ODD. Number 4, finding help for teens with ODD. Number 5, I'm going to give some recommended treatment facilities that specialize with ODD or people that are experiencing ODD. And of course, we're going to do our takeaway and our quote. So let's go on and get started. And I'm so happy to have Pastor Keyway Owens. He's here on tonight. He's going to give us, leave us with a wonderful inspirational vitamin on tonight. So what does ODD in teens look like? I said this on Tuesday night, and I thought that I wanted to repeat this because this is an awesome demonstration of how someone who's experiencing oppositional defiant disorder, what their brain is going through. And it says, imagine that you're on a road trip. You have your GPS on, and it's giving you directions. It tells you step by step where you need to go, and you can trust that it'll take you to your intended destinations. If there's a lot of traffic, or if you have a preferred detour that you like to take, you may go off a track just a little bit, but the GPS will adjust to the path that you are taking. I'm going to say that again. The GPS always adjusts to the path that you are taking. And you can keep following it until you reach where you're supposed to be headed. So this type of driving behavior is normal. Those of us that use GPS, we understand what happens with a GPS, with what goes on with it. So just a little bit of detouring, rebellion, but still following the GPS for most part. Okay, let me move on to number 2. So y'all can follow me. I'm on number 2. There we go. So now think of yourself as a person with a lot of mental abstinence or a lot of mental, interference that's happening. You're driving around, and when your GPS says take a left, or let me put it this way, like I said on Tuesday night. So your mind is the GPS. When your GPS tells you to go right, you decide to go left. Okay? Again, let's say your brain is a GPS and your brain is telling you to go right, but you make the choice to go left. Okay? When it says take a U-turn, you make the choice to keep going straight forward. So there may be a destination that you have in mind, but that doesn't matter at this time because your GPS is telling you where to go. But everything inside of you, and I do mean everything inside of you, does not want to follow the GPS's directions. It is no longer about getting to your destination at this point, or even about being right. It's about control. So this kind of behavior could cause somebody who's driving towards Los Angeles, California, to end up in the swamps of Georgia. So whose fault is this? All right. And let me go to the third. There we go. Whose fault is it? Now on here, it says it's the GPS's fault. But and the reason why it's saying it's the GPS's fault is because someone who is dealing with ODD, oppositional defiant disorder, whenever something goes wrong, it is always somebody else's fault and never their own. They know that they the one that chose to do whatever, but they are going to automatically blame somebody else. That's a part of that disorder. So on here, it says, of course, it is the GPS's fault because the GPS told them wrong when the GPS was leading them right. Remember earlier I said the GPS is telling you to go right, but you make the choice to go left. All right. So although adults, children, teens with ODD or oppositional defiant disorder are fully capable of following, I'm going to say this again, they are fully capable of following directions given by their GPS, their mind. This example is certainly reflective of their relationships with authority figures. And that's including their own mind, that authority. So when people hear about oppositional defiant disorder, they often say things like, when it comes to teenagers, oh, that's just a part of being a teenager. But truth be told, there are some stark differences. And here I'm going to discuss exactly what ODD is and how it compares to normal teenage behavior. I'm going to try this again because I something is not right with this Instagram. And I think it's because, honestly, I just incorporated, or this new system was just incorporated. Either way, I'll just do the replay. All right, so let's move on to the next thing here. All right, so ODD is more than just acting out. But before I get to that, let me read this really quickly. So adolescence or teenage being a teenager is a period of major change. We know they're in that in between stage where they feel like that they're grown, but they're not. When you're a teenager, you may look like an adult, you may be developed like an adult, but your mind is still not mature where an adult mind is. And so there is there's some changes that are taking forth, and it's messing with the average teenager. Okay, so as teens start to develop their own identities, they look for ways to establish themselves as independent, no longer relying on their parents. And many teenagers go through rebellious periods. I think we all went through. I remember I tried for the most part to do what I was told to do. But even I remember as teenagers, there are some things that I did. I tell people, and a lot of people don't, because I've been a Christian most of my life. I've been a born again Christian. But at some point in my life, I did rebel. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 10. And I don't want to say how I started it, but I was around family members trying to be grown and trying to hang out with my family members. I started smoking at age 10. I kept sneaking and smoking until I was almost 16. And it started affecting I had to start praying, God, please don't take my voice from me, because my singing capacity started being affected because I was smoking. I thought that I was hiding it from my mother, and I wasn't. I smoked from age 10 to almost 16, and I had to pray, ask God to take that from me for real. Like, it was a battle for me to stop smoking. And so that was, I never saw anybody in my home smoke or anything but that was a part of that teenage whatever. and trying to hide and stuff like that. So we all go through this stuff. ODD in teens can lead to trouble in school, with the law, and even within their family members. Oppositional defiant disorder treatment, and I'm going to move on to that. When I say that this discovery with ODD is you're seeing it so prevalent now in our young adults and our teenagers. I know here, and I'm probably everywhere, but I know here in Georgia, we see so many young adults who are homeless. They're homeless. They're living on the streets. They're not working jobs. They're not in school. They're not in the military, the armed services. They are literally homeless, living on the streets. And at some point, everybody didn't come from foster care. Some people, when they turn 18, they're no longer in the foster care system and they move on from there. But a lot of these young adults, they are homeless because of this ODD. They refuse to, their parents or their family members, whoever they were living with, are throwing them out. You can't do what you want to do and live in my house. And so they don't have jobs. They're not in school. And you don't have any of this. So you have no means of taking care of yourself. And it is sad. Every day when I'm going to work, I see these young people walking around my job all day long, young. They are undiagnosed. I guarantee you they have ODD and they're undiagnosed. And then they're not going to get help for themselves so they can be the best versions of themselves. So this is a serious, serious disorder that's happening right now. So, okay, let's move on to ODD is more than acting out. Behavioral challenges like ODD make it difficult for teenagers to communicate their struggles effectively. As a result, they may resort to aggressive or defiant behavior as a way to express and cope with their emotions. Now, if these people who are undiagnosed, they have ODD along with other intellectual disorders, that's going to make it even worse. When it's hard for people to communicate from their brains out to, I know I've always taught my children. I've even said it to my husband. We're not in your head. So you're going to have to be a little bit more descriptive with what you're trying to say. I need you to think about what you're trying to say. And I need you to say it and say it descriptively. So while you're talking and communicating, we can understand what you're saying. But there's a lot of people who don't even have that. They don't even have that much, where people are saying, I need you to be more descriptive when you're trying to communicate, because we're not mind readers. You know what you're thinking, but we don't. So even me, when I'm talking, I may have to stop for a minute and say, and when I'm talking to people, did I describe that to where you understand it? And if they say no, then I said, let me back up a little bit because I skipped something. And then I'll go back and start all over again. They'll be like, oh, okay, that's what yep. Because in our minds are just rambling on. And so we may skip some details. So I always say, I've always taught my children, be descriptive when you're communicating to people. Because remember, people were not in your head. And we're not mind readers. So unless you can properly describe or tell us what you're thinking, then we don't know. And you can't just assume that we know what you're thinking or what you're trying to communicate. So with this behavior, when a young person has deficiencies with expressing themselves, their coping mechanisms is to act out. ODD is more than just acting out, though. It's a serious behavioral health issue that can benefit from professional treatment. So in other words, when a person is dealing with ODD, the benefits of getting help is once again, the person being able to become the best versions of themselves when they are getting the proper help that they need. All right, so let's go now. It says children, adolescents, and teens all lash out. We all lash out at times, especially when we sick of people, when we're sick of their behavior patterns and stuff. So diagnosing someone with ODD is difficult because a lot of times with teenagers, the symptoms are similar. Okay, but they're not the same. You know, the difference is the consistency of the behavior. All right. So let's compare the two. And I'm gonna open it up and close it back as we go. So let me open this and close it back. So let's start with this. The typical teen behavior versus a teenager with ODD. Frequency. Occasional defiance, often related to specific situations or when tired or upset. That's typical teen behavior. But frequent and persistent symptoms like this, that's someone with ODD symptoms. Intensity. A normal moodiness in argument is that's typical teen behavior. But where am I at? I think I just, oh no, I'm right. Okay. But disproportionately intense anger, irritability, resentment, and even over small little minute things. I had said on Tuesday night, for instance, if you're walking if they're in school and somebody is walking past them and they accidentally brush against them, nobody should automatically jump to 100, not 10, but 100. Because somebody accidentally brushed against you, that's not typical teen behavior. That's something different. Okay, behavior. So the typical teen behavior, boundary testing, they're gonna test the boundaries, occasional arguments, and sarcasm. That sarcasm, excuse me, that's some typical teen behavior. But deliberately causing arguments, being defiant, being vindictive, blaming other people for the things that they do, and actively annoying people on purpose, that's someone with ODD symptoms. Okay, now the duration period. Okay, now with a teenager, these little things that I talked about earlier is episodic. It happens here and there. But someone with ODD symptoms, they last for 6 months and are limited to sometimes to one person, or limited to the parents or to whoever is close to them. The impact of these things that their behavior. Now, a typical teen may be challenging, but they don't significantly disrupt their daily lives or their relationships. But someone with ODD, a teenager with ODD, they cause significant problems at school, in their social relationships, within their family, just like everywhere. All right. And the cause. Now the cause. Again, with teens, with the typical teen, it can be linked to developmental stages. But someone with ODD, they may have underlying emotional processing differences in their brain and in their amygdala. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. And I needed to move this along because I had two of those. All right, so backlash. Okay, now let me go before I say that. Being vindictive behavior with someone that's diagnosed or undiagnosed with ODD. Vindictive behavior is a standout symptom of ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. Teens will actively seek revenge for perceived wrongdoings, even if it's against their own self-interest. They may also show patterns of defiance and disobedience across a variety of settings, such as at home, in school, or with their friends. But someone who's undiagnosed with ODD, it's just like everywhere they go, it's like constantly just, doing these same type of routines, and then you put the blame on somebody else. That is undiagnosed ODD. Now let's talk about the backlash. So depending on the severity of the teen's ODD, their symptoms, they may only argue back in one setting, or may present challenging behavior in multiple settings. For instance, a teenager with mild ODD may only act out at home or at school, but exhibit model behavior, so if they act out at home, they may exhibit model behavior at school. That's mild ODD. Or if they act out at school, it may be vice versa. They may look like the angel at home. Okay, so but a teen with more severe ODD may engage in defiant behavior no matter where they are. So when these teens argue with authority figures, especially in every setting, everywhere they go, it can lead to serious consequences. Teachers may recommend expulsions, which that's what we do. Classmates will definitely going to avoid them. And then loved ones may feel powerless to help, with helping them. So now let's talk a little bit about finding some help. Before we do that, I wanted to show this video. Here we go. Ooh.
This video is sad for so many reasons. I don't know the little girl's story, but I do know that she should not have been allowed to behave that way for as long as she did. Adults today are terrified to correct children, and it does kids a disservice because they don't learn boundaries, they don't learn consideration for others, and ultimately they don't feel safe.
So clearly that small child, it definitely has ODD. She's undiagnosed, or maybe she may be diagnosed. But the adult that was right there saying, you don't know what she's been through, is no consequences whatsoever. I left out. My takeaway for Tuesday night talked about the 5 C's. I'm going to end it with the 5 C's this tonight as well. Whether you are undiagnosed or you are diagnosed with ODD or any type of behavioral disorder, one of the main strategies is teaching consequences of your actions. That was so sad to see a child that young displaying, and like people were saying, where was, I don't know if that was the parent or not, that was saying, you don't know what she's been through, blah, blah, blah. Yes, there are tragedies that happen, but there still have to be things that are taught with behavior. And that was totally out of control. That was a classic case of ODD, either undiagnosed or diagnosed. But either way, she was definitely, she was unmonitored as a child. If she is diagnosed, even if she is undiagnosed, whoever that child was with, they needed to keep her close. Because if she has tendencies to destroy property, which that is one of the things that that shows, one of the actions or behaviors that is up under the diagnosis of ODD, destroying other people's property. And that young girl wreaked havoc up in that Walmart. They didn't show the rest of it. But just to see that is just heartbreaking. So now, finding help for teens with these type of symptoms. Mental health experts are able to diagnose ODD or oppositional defiant disorder. They may ask about a teen's history, as there are 2 primary theories about what leads up to ODD. Number 1, the first thing that leads up to ODD is developmental challenges. And number 2, learned behavior. And learned behavior is something serious. With most diagnoses, is either these 2. You either learn it, or it's developmental. Okay, so gaining a better understanding of the root causes behind these teenagers' challenging behavior can help these mental health professionals develop an appropriate treatment plan for them. Okay, so why is it important to treat ODD? And I'm going to put this on here because, and I'm going to open it up and close it. Why is it important to treat people with symptoms of ODD? Number one, I'm going to skip it. It says, as a parent, we should want the very best for our children. Our hopes and dreams for them aren't just limited to them graduating high school. We should want them to grow up and have a successful future, doing whatever they endeavor in a positive realm. To do that, they need to be able to engage with and react to other people appropriately, especially authority figures. No matter how old we get, there will always be authority figures in our lives. I'm going to say that again. No matter how old we get, we all have to answer to somebody. One prominent place where we see this is in the workplace. Of course, in the schools, we see that with bosses and managers. Okay, so according to ADDitude, and it's ADDitude, ODD can affect a person's ability to function in the workplace in the following ways. Number one, we see a lot of frequent arguments with bosses and their coworkers. We see people who feel like they're oppressed by office rules. There's always somebody who feel like they're the exception to the rule. Purposely striving to irritate their coworkers. A lot of us experience that. Neglects company policies, resulting in HR write-ups. And then cannot handle constructive criticism or feedback. So I'm going to go back to this. As a parent, our hopes and dreams for them should not just be that they graduate high school, but that our children succeed in life. Okay? So before your children become an adult and enter the real world, it is critical that they learn how to cope with their issues in a way that does not hold them back from succeeding in life. Okay? So with that said, I am going to add, Pastor Keyway Owens in, and then I'm going to end with showing you different places that can help someone who's experiencing ODD. And here we go. Let me open this up. Thank you, Pastor Keyway. So glad to see you tonight.
Yes, indeed. It's so glad to be with you all. How are you?
Fine. And yourself?
Good. This is such an awesome topic. I love the fact that we're talking about ODD, and in your conversation tonight, you talked about how it can be developmental and how it can be learned. I just want to take just a few moments and talk about the spiritual aspect of it. For the Bible tells us in Ephesians 6:12 that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. There are times in our lives where we can put a finger on what's going on. So we have to go to God in prayer. And as we're praying, we're asking God to fight those spiritual battles, those spiritual things that are attached to us. We're talking about young people. Young people are faced with so many things in this world today. Social media, the music, the videos. There are so many things that are attaching themselves to our young children that is causing them to additionally act out. Yes, it is important to see someone. It is important to have it diagnosed, but it's also important to pray. If you know the power of prayer, take it to the Lord in prayer, because all of these things work together. The diagnosis, the doctors, going to counselors, and prayer, all of these things work together. Ephesians 4:23 says to be made new with the attitudes of your minds.
Yes.
No matter what it is that we are going through. And as adults, we're seeing these young people. And I looked at that video, Shanrae, and I felt for that young child. But there are so many of us as adults, we don't know what to do. We're trying to figure out ourselves what to do. How will we do it? But at some point, we have to say, all right, God, I need your help to be able to know what to say, to know how to say it, and when to say it. This ODD is something that we all deal with. And as teenagers, we need to give them the tools to be able to handle it as they're getting older, So that way it doesn't just affect them, but it
Right.
affects everybody else in their lives. I encourage each and every one of us to please reach out to someone, to please ask for help, but also to go to God in prayer, to ask for the strategies and the tools and who we can, because you can't go to everybody. But I truly believe that the Holy Spirit will send you to exactly who you need to go to. This is awesome. I'm praying for each and every one of you. Thank you very much, Shanrae.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful that you could say what I can't. On a professional level, I got to keep it this way. But I wholeheartedly agree with you when it comes to the Christian and our Christian belief in that aspect, because it's a lot. It goes a lot deeper than just this. I'm giving you the clinical standpoint of it, but we know that it's way deeper than just the clinical, right? And so I want to let me open this up a little bit. So there is Family First. And Family First specializes in helping adolescents and teens work through their behavioral challenges such as ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. The teenagers that engage with these therapists in individual, group, and family settings to help them explore their inner feelings and how they feed their behaviors. They have expressive art therapy, Shanrae therapy, that's cool, and other experiential methods to help these teens physically connect with their emotions, providing them with tools to express themselves in a healthier way. Okay, so contact Family First online. Okay, so if you suspect that your teen may be struggling with ODD, oppositional defiant disorder, it is essential to seek professional help. There's this is the South Florida Treatment Center, but I'm going to give you all the website where you can find out where one is close to you, where you are. And they offer a safe and supportive environment where teenagers 12 through 18 can work through their challenges and develop healthier coping mechanisms. They offer they do have a boys only residential program, and they also have a co-ed partial hospitalization program. So they said to contact them or call them at 888-904-4431 to start a conversation about your teen's mental health and how they can help them on their journey to emotional wellness. Now, also, I talked about them on the Brain Balance Achievement Center here in Georgia on Tuesday night, and it says it has a plan for children with oppositional defiant disorder, ODD. The Brain Balance program of Brain Balance of Peachtree City. And if you want to contact them, you can contact them at www.brainbalancecenters.com. Okay, you can put location Georgia. If you want to, wherever you are, if you're in New York, put New York. But there's and if they don't have a center there, they will point you in the right direction to where someone can help. Also, there's a center of Stat Pearls National Library, Library of Medicine, and then John Hopkins Medicine. They also have a program for ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. And most of us have heard of John Hopkins. So they have a program for those that are dealing with symptoms of ODD or oppositional defiant disorder. So let's move this on. My takeaway for tonight, and it's the same takeaway that I did on Tuesday night. And these are some awesome tools for those that are experiencing family members with ODD. The 5 C's of discipline are: number 1, clarity; number 2, consistency; number 3, proper communication; number 4, caring; and number 5, creating a sense of responsibility. So these principles emphasize setting clear rules, consistently enforcing them, talking with your teens about the rules and their feelings, providing support and encouragement, and in helping your teens understand their responsibilities with this. Okay, so the 5 C's again are clarity, consistency, proper communication, caring, and creating a sense of responsibility. Our quote for tonight says, mastering others is strength. It's showing that you have strength, but mastering yourself is true power. And that's by Lao Tzu. And I think I said the last name right. Again, mastering others that shows strength, but mastering yourself is true power. Okay, so let me move this on. This is for my fellow. I'm going to open this up a little bit and close it back. Okay, so that's for my fellow theorists. That's where I got my findings and my teachings from, my theory from, right there. Let's move this on, guys. Y'all know I don't get anything for this, but I believe in helping people who want to help themselves. Better Up, create a personal professional transformation through expert coaching. If you're looking for a life coach, www.betterup.com is a place where you can look and they will help you find a life coach for you. Next, ADA Plus Community, empowering adults with ADD, ODD, ADHD to live their best lives. A different brain requires a different approach. www.adapluscommunity.com. All right, if you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, couples, and your entire family. www.betterhelp.com. All right, 988 Crisis Helpline, where help is available. Connect with people that you can trust. If you are struggling or you know someone who is struggling, it's okay to share your feelings. The 988 a Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people who are in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. I'm going to open this, like I said on Tuesday night. I wanted to share this with you all. At the top part of this year, the early part of this year, I lost a very dear friend of mine to suicide. And I really, really wish that that she would have called 988 when she was at her lowest point. And I want to share with you all, if you ever get to that point in your lives where you're at so low, please just hit 988 on your phone. Please, you matter. You matter. And this too will pass. That whatever you're going through, it will pass. Things will get better. Please, you matter. Just pick up your phone and dial 988 and just listen. You don't even have to talk, just listen. But whatever you do, I want you to understand that you matter. I really wish that my friend would have done that, and she did not. She was at a low point and she took her own life. And she is dearly, dearly missed. We miss her so much. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Learning RX. I love me some. The Learning RX has been around for a long time. All right. So the average graduate of Learning RX, their IQ has improved at least by 13 points. Okay, people make significant gains in their skills, like their working memory, their long-term memory, and their attention. www.learningrx.com. When I say that this facility, it really does help people become better and stronger in their minds. I love me some Learning RX. So if there's a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae series that you've missed or you just want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel and my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications and to select any past series that you would like to watch. Also, If you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, you feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger or any of my messenger pages. If it's Facebook, it's Shanrae Owens. If it's any other social media site, it's under Shanrae Price. You can contact me in my inbox. I'm a lifestyle strategist. My aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Before we go, Pastor Keyway, is there anything else you would like to say?
Awesome. I just really want to just encourage everyone to, just like you said, when you find yourself at a low place, or if you know of anyone who might be struggling, it's really important to reach out to someone. That is one of the most important things that we can do as human beings, is to reach out to someone, even if it's just a phone call or a text message, to let them know, I'm thinking about you. Hey, just checking in on you. You never know the struggle somebody might go through. So I just encourage each and every one of us to reach out. It's important. It's needed. That's what we've been called to do, to love one another like Christ loves us. So reach out to someone, because that phone call might just save a life.
Yes. Thank you so much, Pastor Keyway. This has been Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, week 2, part 2, ODD the teen year. I will see you all next Tuesday and next Thursday for week 3. From same topic, different subtopic. I will see y'all next week. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. See you again next Tuesday, next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have our inspirational vitamin with Pastor Keyway. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Good night, y'all.